Welcome to another edition of Talk City Greensboro, produced by GTN, featuring interviews and events happening around town. It's an easy way to stay in the know while you're on the go. Subscribe to Talk City on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and SoundCloud so you can keep up with what's going on in Greensboro City government. I'm your host, Josh Johnson, and joining me, as always, at the controls, in control, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Devin Smith.
Thank you, Josh. I don't know if I've quite got to legend yet, but I'm well on my way. Well, continuing our theme of celebrating Black History Month by using our Black executive leadership in the city's organization to inspire others, we have invited Jamiah Waterman, the Director of Human Resources, to the Talk City studio. So he is no stranger to us. You work with GTN all the time.
Right.
But this is the first time we're welcoming him to the podcast, so thanks for coming.
Cool. I don't get a man, myth, legend introduction.
Thanks, Josh.
Just Jamiah Waterman.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for you, Josh. One up.
Okay.
All right, yeah. All right. I got nothing to say there.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, good call.
Well, so we've got a couple of questions that we're just going to rattle off for you. They're not yes or no, but you can give a description or a reason why. But
sure.
We want to kind of throw some quick questions at you. So first, what's your favorite childhood memory?
I would probably say, I don't know if it's my earliest or my favorite, but I think probably going to an A&T football game. So my parents met on campus at A&T as students, and they fell in love and all that kind of stuff. But I grew up on A&T's campus going to football games and basketball games, so I'm pretty sure my earliest or favorite childhood memory is probably yelling Aggie Pride.
Nice.
At some point.
Yeah.
All right, your background is in law, and typically most lawyers like history. So who did you admire the most learning about Black history?
For me, and also in the legal context, I would have to say Thurgood Marshall.
Okay.
So when I was an undergrad student at Howard University, I was president of the Thurgood Marshall Pre-Law Society. So it was incumbent upon me to learn a lot about Thurgood Marshall, who was a Howard Law School graduate. And for those who don't know the story, he only went to Howard because, unfortunately, he was not allowed to go to his law school of choice because he was black. And, of course, he later went on to become the architect of the legal strategy behind desegregation. So he's certainly one of my favorite Black history figures, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jamiah, what's your favorite part of your job as Director of Human Resources?
I think helping people. I know, people might laugh, it's like, when's the last time the HR department helped somebody? But honestly, people come to us when they have problems. They're dealing with a complicated, sensitive issue a lot of times, and they need advice on what to do and how to navigate. And so basically, a lot of my job is just helping people deal with problems. And so that's the part of the job that really appeals to me.
I have always been helped by HR.
I appreciate that.
I have nothing but good things to say about you guys. So.
Good.
That might want to be your answer.
Yeah.
Right.
Why did you choose to study law?
Interesting. It wasn't really a plan of mine. I actually went to school and studied political science, and I flirted with the idea of going into the Foreign Service and being, part of the diplomatic corps.
Cool. I want to be in the CIA. You wanted to be a spy.
He was going to defend the spies.
Yeah, right.
when they got caught.
So I had to decide: are you going to sit for the Foreign Service entry exam, or are you going to take the LSAT, which is the law school admissions test? And I took the LSAT and scored pretty well on it, and then I started getting like scholarship offers to go to law school. I said, well,
nice.
Let me go to law school and then see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it happened. I kind of backed into it.
Very cool.
How modest. He said he scored very well, but then got scholarships for it. So very well obviously meant really, really, really well.
Trust me, I'm still paying school loans. So I got scholarships, yes, but it wasn't nearly enough.
Well, if you could instantly change something in the world, what would that one thing that you would change be, and why?
Oh, man. maybe we should wipe out all school debt. I
I'm
I
all
mean, yeah.
for that.
I mean,
As am I.
really, I think, honestly, for most people, education is the thing that allows you to elevate yourself and your family. And if you have that barrier, just being able to afford to go to college and live, that really, I think, unfairly limits a lot of potential and talent that, exists out here in the world. So just off the cuff, yeah, if we could make education equal, have equal access for everyone, regardless of your socioeconomic background, to me, that would be a wonderful thing.
Okay.
That would be a wonderful thing. I
Yeah.
would agree. So what would you do with $1 million, sir?
Ooh. Well, I think, both of my parents are now retired, so I would definitely try to help them so that they could enjoy their retirement years without any undue pressure. And then I might find one or two other ways to spend some of that money. I would pay off my law school loans, I guess.
Right.
And, I wouldn't do anything too outlandish. I think I would just kind of give to some of my favorite charities. A&T is one. Legal Aid of North Carolina is another favorite charity of mine. And I'm a board member of the United Way of Greater Greensboro. So there's a lot of good ways to use $1 million for sure.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
We keep getting these classy answers for how would you
You want to
spend
know
$1
the
million.
truth.
Are you going to Vegas?
Maybe I should say, what would you do with $500,000?
Yeah, right.
Well, speaking with our guest, the one and only Mr. Jamiah Waterman,
I like it. Thank you.
Director
Much
of
better.
Human Resources
Yes.
here at the City of Greensboro. Jamiah, you grew up in Greensboro,
Yes.
and then you went on to become very successful in your career here. What does that mean to you?
Wow. I tell you, growing up here in Greensboro, I had no idea that I would ever work in government here. But I can remember very distinctly, as a kid, there was a football field, or what we thought was a football field, near our neighborhood. And so it was a place where we would go and play after school and that kind of thing. And I remember one day we went to the park and someone had planted a row of beautiful trees in the middle of the football field.
Right in the middle of the field.
Yeah. And now you would say, at first blush, you'd say, that's a good thing. Somebody planted nice trees in this neighborhood park. But for those of us who use that park on a daily basis and use it as a football field, it was like, no, this
doesn't work.
We no longer have a football field. And I think that was the first time that I had some awareness that there were people out there kind of making decisions about us and our community that maybe we didn't know anything about or didn't know how to interact with or engage with. And so I think that kind of got me interested in government and learning more about government. And so now that I'm a part of government, it really is fascinating for me to understand the impact that we have on other people's lives. And so I take it very seriously, the work that we do, and I'm proud to be a part of the city's team, certainly.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And so to speak to that, it's pretty funny because Jamiah really walks what he talks when it comes to the community. Yep. So I don't know if he remembers this, but a couple months ago, it was some months ago. This was before Kyler was born. Loris was with child, so I was on a Harris Teeter run at like midnight, and I bumped into Jamiah, and I'm like, "What are you doing out here at midnight?" He's like, "Well, I was just leaving the
Sportsplex."
Yes, the Sportsplex for the teenagers.
Summer Night Lights.
Yeah, Summer Night Lights, the program that they have where they get the kids to stay out all night.
Yeah.
Right.
And guess who's there with them? The director of
Human
Resources.
Yes.
Jamiah is out serving the community.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, well, another thing that we wanted to really ask a lot of people during this month was, what would you tell a child, especially a young black child, to encourage them to continue chasing their dreams?
Wow. I think for me, I would say education is the key. I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse. There are some of us who are very talented in arts, in music, and in athletics, but just the odds of you supporting yourself through one of those pursuits, it's really tough and it's really difficult. And I don't want to discourage anyone who has those talents, but for the rest of us who don't have those talents, the key really to gain, security for yourself and for your family is through education. And so as a child, I read a lot. And I really do think that was a big part of the reason why I always knew that I would go to college. And I didn't know what I would be, but I knew I would become, something and do something productive in my life. So that's the one piece of advice that I have for a young person is to read and to try to learn as much as they can.
Yeah,
It's good advice.
yeah, definitely.
Very good advice.
It's solid. It's solid advice. I think a lot of people think that, you don't have a choice but to go and get these college loans and stuff like that. But I mean, a lot of our successful entrepreneurs and stuff like that, they just took the time to read while they were younger.
That's right.
And learn and put themselves in positions while they were younger. And it wasn't until after they could pay for school that they went back to college and stuff like that. But it was the foundation of education that got them started.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, thank you, Jamiah, for coming down and
no doubt.
dropping your jewels of knowledge.
Okay. All right.
We appreciate you being here.
Anytime.
Stay tuned in weekly by subscribing to Talk City Greensboro on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. And don't forget, you can download Talk City from SoundCloud.
That's all we have for this week. Thank you for tuning in to Talk City. Be sure to watch GTN, your official source for news and information from the city of Greensboro. GTN is available on Spectrum Channel 13,
AT&T UVerse Channel 99,
and North State Channel 31.
GTN also streams live on the city's website at greensboro-nc.gov. And we are now also on Roku.
Have a good one.